Well, locally made movie with local actors and writer-director is making the Indie Film Fest rounds to much acclaim. And this Wednesday night, it makes its local debut at the Minneapolis St. Paul International Film Festival. Joining me right now with more on The Center is Charlie Griak, writer-director, and Matt Cici, actor. Thank you, gentlemen. This was your baby to start with, so how did it all come about?
Well, for a long time I had a script that I was working on for maybe 4 or 5 years, and at one point I made a commitment to some people at a New Year's celebration that I was going to actually make the film, that somehow I would figure out how to make it, and at the time I really regretted telling them because I didn't think there was really much way I could do it. But
nothing like a little pressure, right?
Yeah, so I had committed to a bunch of good friends, and what I decided to do is do small steps. And we shot little scenes, and we borrowed cameras, and we used microphones that were someone else's, and we used desk lamps for lights. And eventually we kind of built up some momentum. And finally we got in touch with some local producers, Annie and Judd Enan, and they did a great job of organizing the entire shoot.
Okay, so what we're seeing is actually the final film. This isn't what you started out with.
No, none of those test scenes made it into the final film, but they were really informative, and they helped us figure out who the great actors were in the area and who we could work with, and kind of develop a style of how we wanted to shoot the movie.
Matt, tell me a little bit about your part. You're the central character here. So what's The Center all about? It's about you.
Yes, it's about a man who is looking for the answers to life. He's working a dead-end job and finds himself getting involved into a self-help group. Turns out to be a bit like a cult. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a story of him trying to figure out his way of life and trying to get out.
Mm-hmm. So is it a little on the dark side, and for you, did it kind of stretch your acting chops?
Yeah, it definitely was a little bit on the darker side. It's something that I feel like was very challenging, and it's kind of what attracted me to the role in the first place. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you guys had a little bit of a challenge, though, in the sense that you shot everything here.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I think some of the challenges were that we had limited time. We didn't get to shoot for weeks and months and months. We had to find a way to do things in an organized and really efficient fashion. And also in Minnesota, you're always dealing with weather a little bit. Mm-hmm. So we had a few obstacles like that, but all of those were great challenges, and they just made us they fortified us and made us work even harder to get the job done.
And now you've got a big deal guy out in California, Jonathan Demme, who's now signed on.
Yeah, I was working my background's in animation and illustration, and I was fortunate enough to work with him on developing an animated feature film. And along the way, I was able to share with him my rough cut of the film, and he really was excited about what he saw. And he invited me out to New York and helped me edit and make the final thing that people will see at the festival this week.
Mm-hmm. So do you think that we have a name attached, to the project, that kind of opens doors for you?
I think it probably does, yeah. I think that people see that, and
not that your work isn't fantastic,
exactly.
Gentlemen, right? Of course.
Yeah.
But.
No, I think it always helps. I think it gives it a stamp of approval, hopefully, and I hope that's what it does. And also, he was very instrumental in actually creating the final edit. He really mentored me and helped me find my right voice for this film. So,
well,
yeah, he helped in a lot of ways.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
We wish you guys the best. Let's tell our audience where they can find you. The Center screening this Wednesday, April 22nd, 7:20 at St. Anthony Main Theater. Then on Friday, April 24th at 10 p.m. For more details, head to kare11.com and then click on the 4 p.m. news. Coming up, we're going to head right into the kitchen to learn how to cook mussels. Plus, we're going to show you who's welcoming visitors to a Louisiana town right there when we come back.